That is a big one. That is a big one. Hey everyone, we're gonna do some early morning bass fishing, something I hadn't done in a while. Gonna have some great action. We catch a couple big ones, so stay tuned.
Shane Flynn Outdoors, brought to you by Omnia Fishing. Experience the most personalized tackle shopping on earth. And by Finn's Outdoors. Gear up for every adventure. And also by Trika, engineered to dominate.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! What a big girl!
I truly love bass fishing early morning in the summertime, especially when you get a good topwater bite. But I have no luck on the topwater on this day. But as I'm jumping from point to point, I do notice a lot of forage, a lot of bait fish suspended at 12 to 15 foot off the points. So I quickly figure out that I'm going to have to chase these fish in deeper water and provide them a bait that they're going to jump on. And I forget about the topwater for a little bit because I'm starting to get the bites right where the bass are chasing bait fish.
Oh yeah, there we go. Come on, big fighter. Well, I was fishing topwater, but I wasn't getting much on the topwater. So I switched over to Kitech. Imagine that. The bass wanting to eat a minnow. First bass of the day, not so bad. Thank you, buddy. Boy, he was a fat chunker. So when I got here, the sun was shining this morning, or the sun was coming up. We had this gray cloud deck just come over just about 15 minutes ago. I don't know if it's a front moving through. Really didn't pay attention to the weather, but the wind picked up. I put the topwater down and I just went back to the minnow bait to see what we could do here. There's one. Oh, what a whopper. Came up and crushed it. I don't know if I need the net on this guy, but he's a pretty good chunker. Yeah, he's probably, oh yeah. I'm gonna have to lip him. Come here, buddy. Come here. I got you. I couldn't get him in the boat with that. Oh, but he inhaled that Kitech. That's a good solid. Hey, that thing is so fat. He's got to be at least 4 pounds. I'm not going to weigh him, but he's a solid 4-pounder there. Big and fat. Came up and hammered that. He's got to be. What? Let's measure him. These bass are so healthy this time of year. He's 20 inches long, right at 20 exactly. That's a nice 4-pound bass right there. Can't beat that all day long. There we go. Oh, that's a good one. Come on back here. Fatty McFatty, I got you. Let me get you from spinning. There we go. Another nice 2-pound chunk right there. There you go, buddy. Right off this point where they should be. I'm just point hopping at this point. So got here early, and I thought it was gonna be bright sunshine, but had cloud deck move in, the wind started blowing, then it just died. And at this point, I'm just gonna go point to point to see if I can. There's some activity right there. I'm gonna throw right at that. Is that a bass or is that a carp? That must have been a carp because he didn't eat that minnow I just threw at him. But I've been trying topwater all morning. I haven't got a blow up at all, but I've noticed the bait fish are off these points, and I'm just camping on those bait fish and throwing the Kitech in them and see if I can grab them. And so far it's worked. You know, I was out here yesterday afternoon And something that was interesting is I was like, I'm sick of catching fish on a Kitech. I want to show you guys something different. So I threw a crankbait to no avail. I threw a lipless lipless bait to no avail. Put on a actually it's right there. I put on a chatterbait, and I watched my chatterbait go by the bass, and they ran away from the chatterbait. They moved away from it. They weren't even interested. So it's interesting. These bass only want one thing when they're chasing shad like this. It's something that looks like the bait that they're chasing, and right now it's this Kitech. Now I caught a couple on an underspin, but mostly yesterday and today it's just been Kitech. I even threw a swim jig and nothing on a swim jig. There he is. I thought I was gonna. Come here, guy. I knew you were getting it. Little guy, but we got you. You'd be a keeper in a bass tournament, but we're not in a bass tournament. About 12, 13 incher? 13. I'm curious. I hadn't measured a bass this size. Yep, 13 inches. You'd be a keeper in a bass tournament. I don't like to keep them that size in a bass tournament, but sometimes when you're in a bass tournament, you don't get all the bites you need. And you need those 13 inches. And for me, that's typically how it goes. That's a stick. I catch a lot of these, a lot of sticks in a bass tournament, and I catch a lot of dinks in a bass tournament. Now, when I'm out here just trying to fun fish, yeah, I get those 4 and 5 pounders. I get that 18-pound 5 bag limit, but not in a bass tournament. He's squatting back here, which is very unusual. These islands usually produce, got a lot of bait around them, but not this morning.
Well, like I mentioned, I didn't see much bait fish activity on live scope looking around this area, which is truly unusual. Usually I find a lot of bait fish piled up in this area and I catch a few bass, but I didn't see anything initially, which was a great excuse for me to pick up my topwater rod, because in my mind, in the back of my mind, I want that big bite on that topwater. It's just something that's drilled in my head that's what you want on the early summer morning bite. You want that big bass on the topwater. But one thing I always do when I'm fishing around is I keep an eye on a live scope. And you can see I reeled in here real quick and pick up my minnow bait because I have spotted a big ball of bait fish. No bass, I just see the bait fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that Kitech around that bait fish to see if I can generate that big bass bite.
That is a big one. That is a big one. That is a big one. If it's the bass, it's a big one. Could be it's a bass. It's a bass. Let me get my net, because I'm gonna need it. Whoa! Caught him on the jump. Caught him on the jump. That's a big one. Ah. Ha ha. That's a big one. I don't know. He's over 5. Definitely over 5. Nice big bass for summer morning bass fishing. Nice big bass. Nice one. He's got to be about 22-ish. Let's see. 20. Exactly 22. Nice big one on the Kitech. Love catching these big summertime bass. We can catch them on the minnow bait, and the minnow bait works. So here we go. There we go. Man, I felt him breathe on that. This trike rod. Oh, nice one. Finally caught something on something other than a Kitech. Got one on the good big worm. I think that's going to do it for the day, folks. Nice little 2-pound chunker. Been fishing for 3 hours and 30 minutes. Came out here for an early morning. First early morning I've done since my leg healed up. Did pretty good. It's just I really wanted to catch something on the top water. But that Kitech, they just love that. They're chasing shad, and that's what they love to eat. So, I mean, you got to feed them what they're going to bite, right? So that's what we did today. Finally caught one on a worm. Didn't get anything on the top water, but it's a really good day of fishing. I love early morning bass fishing, especially here in the summer. It's, you know, the 10th of June. Took a few hours off of work this morning to come out here and catch some bass. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you got something from this episode. And until next time, tight lines and have fun fishing.